Hello, I hope that you guys are all loving Breakout SFT. And now you are into your Mindful Minutes presentation part of your breakout. So your hints on what you're going to be doing here are going to happen in a little bit. But brain breaks are kind of the term that the internet, if you're doing some searching, or that you might have heard in previous trainings. We're going to use the word mindful minutes because I don't love the word break being incorporated with our brain, because we're not giving them a break. We're actually being very mindful about what we're going to be asking students to do. Brain breaks or mindful minutes are quick and effective ways to re-engage and re-energize students' brains on what they are learning that day or within a 5-minute period. They reactivate, they re-energize, and they actually stimulate students' brain. And depending on which ones you're picking, they can actually help with concentration and relieve stress from students. Lots and lots of research out there showing that every 15 to 25 minutes, depending on the student, that they actually do need a mindful minute or a brain break to re-energize and refocus themselves in their learning. So we're going to go through a couple different ones today, and then you guys will have your hint on how to break out of this room. One of the big things with these brain breaks or mindful minutes, you have to teach the kids how to do them. So it's not going to be something that you can just incorporate on the fly and it'll be perfect the first time. Also, some of them take quite a bit of work and balance to be able to do very well. So it is going to take some time for the kids to learn how to do them. So you kind of got to give them the history and the reasoning and things behind that we're regrowing neurons, that we're re-energizing their brains, that we are trying to trigger their brains to work better so that they learn better before that you go into it. You're also going to do them for a different set amount of time. So 1, 2, 3 minutes is about a good time for a mindful minute. I know I'm saying mindful minute and then saying 3 minutes, but some of them are going to take the kids a little bit longer to get used to and be able to do. There are also going to be some that they like a little bit better. So our first ones that we're going to do are some that you could do with an individual student. So in your table, you've got a big bunch of water beads sitting in a tub. You can actually just keep them in a tub like this and put in vocab words and the definition and hand this to a kid, and he can dig through to find, maybe it's the answer to a math problem. So he's got to do the math problem in his head and then he's got to find the answers. And so instead of sending them out of class, they can be sitting over in a corner, digging through here, doing some content, because that's a big thing with these mindful minutes, is that we're linking the left and the right sides of our brains. So we're getting the sensory, but we're also going to be digging for a little bit of content. But what we're going to do with these today is we're actually going to create a little fidget. This is going to be for you. You can create these more or less if you want to have them for your classes, but they're super, super addicting, so I'm guessing you're not going to want to give them to anybody. So in your rooms, you also have a water bottle. You're going to fill the water bottle up to the line with the beads. If your hands are a little bit smaller, you might want to go a few less water beads. If they're a little bigger, you might want to go a little bit bigger. Kind of depends on your size, and you'll see in a second when you can kind of determine that. Take your balloon, your color of your choice, blow it up, give it a little quick twist, and then you're going to spread out the end of it and actually put it on the top of the water bottle. Then untwist the balloon. You can turn your balloon over, empty all the water beads in, take yours off, and then this is where you can kind of determine if this feels like a good size for your hand and your hand fits around it nicely, go with that size. If you want it a little bit smaller, let a few out. If you want some more, put a few more in, but then you tie it, and then you have your water bottle or your water bead fidget, or it's kind of like a stress ball. So that's for you to use for the rest of your PD. Now I want you to hit pause. Everyone in the room create their little fidget, and then we will go on to do some brain breaks. Welcome back. I'm glad that you guys all made your fidgets. Now we're going to do some mindful minutes that can either re-energize or calm students. We're going to start with a calming one. This one is all based on your breathing, and you guys can't really see my legs all that much. Let's tip. Okay. So you're actually going to take and you're going to cross your legs. So put your left over your right, and yes, I do expect you all to be doing these with me. Then take your hands out front, cross, and wrap them underneath. And so what you're doing right now is you're making your right and your left hemispheres of your brain kind of think about the position of your body. And then you're just going to take lots and lots of deep breaths. Keeping yourself in that position. If you've got really good balance, you can actually close your eyes. And so your whole class will be breathing very quietly. There isn't any talking during this time. And the tighter that they can get themselves to squeeze, the better the breaths are going to feel, okay? Then to unwrap, they are going to release, undo, and then you would go back and put the other side, so right on top, and then cross your legs the other way, and you would do it again. So that's a really, really good one for calming. Another one that you can do right before tests, and this one, if you look it up on the internet, it actually says Brain Boost. So you're gonna take your hand, make it a big U, your right hand, and you're gonna put it right underneath your collarbone and just press. Your left hand then is gonna go right on top of your navel, and you pulse up and down, 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 up and down. And what this is actually supposedly doing is hitting those pressure points into your brain. And so you'd be very calmly breathing during this and pushing. And so you would do that for 1 to 2 minutes to prep and energize your brain right before you take a test. A couple more very, very simple ones for kind of re-energizing and de-stressing is having kids put pressure on another object. Great objects that we have around everywhere is our walls. So just having them push against a wall. They can be pushing as hard as they can. They're trying to move that wall and they're getting all of these muscles stressed, and then they calm and they release. And a great way to link in content on this is that there can do a mantra or whatever you're lecturing on that day, or a definition to a word. They can be repeating that as they're pushing. Another one is just stretching out your calves. Getting that foot up against that wall and just pushing. A lot of us carry stress in our calves, so if we can get ourselves to release that, again, stretching and doing a mantra and talking about vocabulary at the same time, you're hitting a little bit of content. All right, so now there's a couple more that kind of re-energize or can actually calm. It's kind of depending on how quickly that you can do them. This one where you're gonna take your right hand and you're gonna bounce it off your right knee and you just go back and forth. And so if you do this very slowly, this is a calming, but if you do it faster, it's re-energizing. Very simple one that takes a little bit of work. You're going to take your right hand and put it on your left ear and your left hand on your nose. And then you're going to flip your hands. So then my hand on my nose goes to my ear and back and forth. And so the trigger here is to be able to incorporate that spatial dynamics, and I just missed my notes, back and forth, making my left and my right side of my brain work together to be able to find the parts of my face. So again, very calm breathing. The faster that you can get kids to do it, the more energizing. If they're doing it slow and slow breathing, it can be calming. Really cool, energizing one. This one you do seated. You're gonna play some music, so you can kind of pick whatever music that you want, and you're going to have the kids doing a variety of different activities while they're seated. So one is paddling, one is swimming, one is mountain climbing, okay? And you just yell those out and kind of switch them as you go. And so you can come up with a variety of different ones. You could do flapping, but whatever you want the kids to do, you're going to kind of sequence it, kind of like Simon Says, but without the Simon Says. You're just gonna say paddling, swimming, paddling, and you just drum back and forth, talking about what these different kinds of movements are. And so that's a great one for re-energizing. So after a lecture, you don't have to get them up, they're still in their chair, but you can re-energize them very quickly with this very quick brain break. A lot of them you can still do seated. The one with the knees, you can do that seated. There's quite a few that do the different directions. So you're moving your foot counterclockwise and you're writing the letter 6. So my foot has to be doing one and my arm is trying to do another. And so you really have to think about the motions that your minds are taking. So now what I would like you to do is I would like you to take Pretend that you're doing a little walkthrough, and I want you to walk the walls of the room that you're in and see if you can find the next clue to what you have to complete in this room to break out. Thank you so much.